There's an interesting trend that I spotted recently, especially for international candidates, and that is to talk about learnings in pretty much every answer that you give, either in a phone or in an on-site interview. And I wanted to talk today about the pros and cons to such an approach. And so to be clear, I'm not a big fan of this particular method. Why am I saying this? Is because, in my opinion, if you go with all with learnings for each and every question getting asked, more likely than not, some of those learnings will be less than interesting. So I don't think it's a highlight. I don't think it's a strength of yours if you include your learnings from pretty much any situation that you've been part of. Now, where are learnings important? Well, learnings are the most important in failure stories because, for example, if they want to see your ability to deliver, they would want to ask you for a time when you failed to deliver something significant on time, or if they would want to see how your judgment, maybe they would want to ask you about the time when you made a bad judgment, and again they would want to learn more about how you grew from that experience. Now, not to say that it's a bad idea to talk about learnings every now and then while answering a behavioral question. It could be a time when you had to negotiate between the needs of the customer and the needs of the business, and you maybe learn something, a new approach, something interesting there. But again, you should, in my opinion, pick those moments carefully when you believe that those learnings will be highlights. And there's another side to this story. Probably one of the reasons why some candidates prefer to talk about the learnings each and every time is because they know this is a common follow-up question. And my answer to that would be, so what if it's a follow-up question? The follow-up question doesn't mean you did not answer the question well. It just means it starts a conversation. So I'd very much use this opportunity to start the conversation, and when compared to giving a so-so learning from pretty much any experience that I'm talking about in an interview. And I've noticed this. Then there's also the seniority of the role. I believe that director level roles, people are smart enough not to use this all the time, and probably for more junior roles it could make a little bit more sense. But for mid to senior level roles, I believe this is where the trade-off comes into place. Like, you really have to pick your fights carefully. But for junior roles, I think yes, it could. I can see the added benefit of using your learnings more often than usual. So there you go. Maybe, who knows, maybe you're not using your learning, but you're not talking enough of your learning. So hopefully this gave you a little bit more insight when it comes to how do you go about these things. And so to be clear, so these learnings would actually complement the results section of your presumably star answer.